All right. Well, welcome everyone to Crypto Talk Now. You're now live with Jeremy, aka the Crypto Realist. You
How
guys
you
know
doing?
him. Same with Wadi, the Crypto Hunter. We were supposed to have a few more people join us here. Basically, Larry wasn't able to make it because he has a cat he has to rescue or something like that in the top of a tree. This is, I guess, like a family member's cat or something like that. So they're worried about it and so on. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and just basically wait for a few people to kind of filter on through audience members, you name it. But before we do that, I thought I would at least first kick it to Jeremy.
Sure.
For say, I already had your question answered before to me personally. I asked you how you were doing, but for the audience, how you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too shabby. Glad to be here tonight. We're really glad to be able to do these, crypto roundtables and so on. And
Oh yeah.
I know that the last time I think you were here, I don't know if it was officially called. I think you were more of a special guest, if you will. So this is something that, yeah, man, this is something we do like at least once a week. We do on the Wednesday,
hmm
and people like it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm glad to be back.
Well, very, very cool. Wadi, how about you, man? How's things going with you?
I am good, bro. Thank you.
Cool. Sounds good. Let's see. Okay, so Daniel's not going to be able to make it. I haven't heard back from Chaka. I don't know if he's going to make it. So this very well might be who we have tonight, which is Jeremy and Wadi, which is, hey, man, nothing wrong with that. Got some
Yeah.
good quality people
We'll have a
here.
good
So,
time.
yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and first recognize some of the people who are here right now. Maybe some left. You never know. Sometimes it's just how it is. We get some late stragglers. I do realize there's some other shows going on in the space. So I think was it Classic Crypto? I think was doing a live show about Gala. How do you pronounce it? Is it Gala or Gala? Like the apple? I always wonder that. Gala.
Hello. Yeah.
Here I can't pronounce it right, and yet it's one I'm probably going to end up getting. And I've been had on my watch list for over a year now. But anyway, at these particular prices. Speaking of which, how about you, Jeremy? How do you feel about Gala?
It's not in my sector of investments. I hear good things about it. Other people talk positively about it, but it's not one that I'm well versed in to the point where I'm going to say one thing or another. But I hear good things.
So probably like on your watch list, but not your short list or something like that.
Right,
Huh?
exactly. It's one of those that I kind of keep over here. I kind of have my lane that I focus in on things, basically, the standard blue chip stuff right now and some plays and some other newer projects. But other than that, it's just a couple handful of blue chip stuff and, a couple newer projects.
Right on. That sounds like a good approach. All right, so let's start off. Here's our first comment of the day. I don't know whose guy this is. I don't know if you're new, but I like to go ahead and personally welcome you. It's just my style. He says, "We first. Thank you so much for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now. If you guys know who this person is, by all means, give him your own personal shout out. He might be from your community. Um, you want to take that away?
I don't recognize the name. I mean, I don't want to say
Same.
yes
Okay.
or no. I don't recognize it. But thanks for joining in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
More than welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, so if this is your first time, like you're saying, we first, as in like first comment, or your first time just being at CTN, of course, want to give you the Crypto Talk Now network. Welcome. We have a very welcoming community here. Any questions, comments you have, by all means, go ahead and drop it. And if anything, thank you again. We really, really do appreciate it. Next in the list, the one, the only, Brian Dowie. Good to see you, Brian. Thank you for being here. We're about close to 5 minutes into the show. Wait for a few more people kind of filter in and so on. Tim Shea's in the house. He says, "Hey, good to see you, Tim Shea." By the way, Brian and Tim, thank you so much for sharing, retweeting my, ISO cheat sheet, volume 2, if you will. I'll go ahead and bring that up here in a moment. But yeah, I saw you guys shared that earlier. Tim Shea, of course,
Tim?
saying hello to you both. Sorry to cut you off.
Nope, I just said what's up to Tim.
Oh, okay. All right. And then we got some of the other guys in the house. Mr. Lambos. Yeah, my bad. Good to see you. Can't ever say it like Larry, man. Only Larry could say his name like he does. Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk, but I can't roll out the tongue like him. All right. Joyce is in the house. Can see you, Joyce. A lot of familiar faces. Thank you so much for being here. Can Quant go under $100? Yeah, you better believe it can. And for me personally, that's just even that much more incentive, much more of an incentive for me to pick up more quant and get to my own personal goals. Like I mentioned, for a lot of you guys, when it comes to quant, I think it's fair to say that 10 quant, if you really believe in quant, and it's one of your standout ones, especially for the ISOs, you should make 10 quant your personal goal. Some other people have much higher than that. For me personally, yeah, at least a minimum of 10. And then from there, I'm going with 20. And then after that, like I mentioned on the last couple shows, I think it's gravy. How about you guys? You guys in the quant?
I don't have any.
I don't
Okay.
have any yet, but
Yet.
I'm definitely into it. Yeah.
Nice. Sounds very good. Guys, everybody who's watching us tonight, we have a few things we're going to go over in regards to the quant connection. Of course, you guys saw, for instance, the video I did earlier. Also, the one previous from that about the United States is confirmed working on a CBDC, the quant connection. There's another connection on today's video in regards to the Banque de France, which is their CBDC connection, again, the quant connection, and so on. And if anything, on today's show, we have, for instance, a particular outline, right, that specifically mentions a few key things: regulation, a potential crypto ban. What the heck is going on? But let's get more into it. Into the comments, and of course, we'll kick it right into the show. It says, hi, Brian. Hi, Tim. Tim Shea, Mr. Lambos, maybe don't think it will go too far below. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to quant, I mean, come on, realistically, like 70, 80, I don't know, man. That's really, really further down. Don't know about that, but nonetheless, I want to say hello to this gentleman right here, Mr. Edward Vincent in the house. He says, what up, y'all? Portland represent. Yeah. Showing love to Jeremy, Wadi, and everybody else from yours truly, Edward Vincent. Yep. Let's go a little bit further down. We got everyone saying hello to each other. Always a great thing. How about this guy? Big Watch Dude, 2 nights in a row. Good to see you, man. What's up, Max and Crypto Talk Now family? Very good to see you. We're going to have, of course, getting into the actual show here in a bit. Got some short clips, highlights, and if anything, tonight's particular, I guess you could say, topic will be in reflection of some of these hot topics that basically made us crypto round, if you will, no pun intended. And of course, here, part of our panel tonight, we will definitely get into their thoughts, their concerns in regards to that. Let me go a little bit further down. So, this is a point towards Tim. I will go ahead and state this. So Mr. Lambos basically believes that if it goes to 103, 104 and bounces back up, he hope it does, and he'll pick up some. I agree. I mean, around that price level for quant, that's not too shabby. We did see it briefly touch. I think it was 96, 98. I don't know if it was 3 weeks to a month ago. I think Menelect basically pointed that out, and he took advantage of it for the brief time. Joyce states that she saw Wadi's clip on Shiba's site announcement. That's cool. What was going on with that, Wadi? You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, actually, I was talking about that. I know a lot of people got disappointed because it wasn't what everyone expected. So I mentioned that I read an article where it said that Shibarium is coming, but the first step that they're going to take before they beta test it is that they are going to renew the website. So I was just saying, don't lose hope for all those Shiba holders.
And my thing is this, on top of it, it's like instead of labeling it as a beta, I mean, you guys know me, a gamer background and so on. Heck, how about you too, Jeremy, right? Can we just say private alpha at first? Do we really got to call it like, what kind of beta is this? Is it a private beta? God knows it doesn't sound like it's going to be a public beta. So how's that going to work? I mean, what's going to be the sign up process? That's the way I'm looking at it, but teach them.
mean, the way things have been going lately, I don't even know if it's going to be anytime soon that they're even going to put out that beta. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta be real about
I mean,
it.
I'll be
CC in the
honest,
private
I,
chat.
I kind of lost hope on ship when I literally sold all my ship. The minute that I found out that it wasn't going to be the main token for the metaverse, so I just said, you know what? I'm out.
I kind of look at it this way: when they stop doing meme token things, I'll stop treating them like a meme token.
Yeah, I agree.
Like creating new tokens, fake announcements, countdown announcements, all the hype to build it up and just to dump it again with an announcement to later to be determined. And it's just the hype cycle that keeps going on in the meme coin world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got some very valid points, and while I'm still I hate to use this term, but it is what it is, diamond handing Shiba Inu and so on. At the same time, I do have to look at the constructive criticism and so on. And let's face it, the other day, a whole thing with the website, I mean, come on, man. It's just like they should have, and of course, Rodney on his show, he pointed this out, you don't need to make a countdown clock devoted towards an upgrade for a website. You just don't need to do that.
You don't. You can make an announcement that, hey, the website's coming. It's dropping at this time. That's all you got to do. You don't need to make a big hype. You don't need to blow it out of proportion.
Yeah, you don't need to do that at all. And if anything, it's like we did see, shout out to Larry. He posted, or I should say, shared a YouTube short basically mentioning just that, Shiba Inu during that time added another 10,000 holders. I imagine it was because specifically just that, a perfect case of buy the rumor, sell the news.
Exactly.
In a different form. It wasn't exactly that, but people FOMO'd in because of that. So
because it's Shiba.
Yeah. Right. So basically, this literally what I ended up doing. I put in some cash in Bone in case, just in case, because I didn't want to be left out. But this is where you're gonna laugh. I put a stop limit loss at about 89 cents. You want to know how much I lost? $10.
There's nothing wrong with that. You got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't laugh at that at all. I don't even hold Bone yet. It's the only one of the ecosystem I don't hold. I do have 2 full leash and over 1 billion Shiba Inu. But for me personally, I'm still looking at SHIB as, like I mentioned before, the Coke and Pepsi, like with Dogecoin, the Coke and Pepsi of your meme coins. I think in the end, they're going to be more than fine, but I do not like the sketchy stuff that reminds us of, let's face it, some of the other sketchy ones that don't even deserve to be on a proper list with these two. You know what I mean? I'm sticking, like I said, if it's meme coins, it's going to be the Coke and Pepsis, if you will. Do not put yourself in the classification of being, Big K, right? What the hell is Big K? Exactly. It's an offshoot brand of your freaking cola, right? There's a reason why people call Coke Coke and Pepsi Pepsi. They don't say, hey, what would you like to have to drink at my barbecue, Jeremy? Yeah, I think I'll have some cola. No, you say, I'm going to have a Coke. I'm going to have a Pepsi. Treat it as so, and you'll get treated as so. Anyway, let's go further down to the comments. Steve the Canadian says, oh, hey, you two peoples. Good to see you, Steve. Going further down, let me see if we got any more questions. Here's a familiar face. Good to see you again, me, myself, and I. Who's in the house? Let's see here. Crypto God states, we need a video ranking your portfolio holding from best to worst. I may do that sometime. I mean, it's kind of like to each his own when it comes to that. But yeah, if there's a demand for it, maybe I'll do something like that. Let me see. Let me go down to a few more questions. Yeah, we do need a few more likes. I don't know where we're at right now. Let me see. I'm gonna refresh the page. Actually, it says we're at 8 now. Somebody didn't like it. We're down to 7. All right, fair enough. Maybe because we just need to kind of kick it more into the show. Let's see here. Is there gonna be any ecosystem coins built on quant? So you're saying specifically with their native token? That's a good question, because my thing is this. I'm gonna lean towards no, mainly because if you think about it, their whole software, the Overledger itself, right? That's a whole ecosystem in itself. That's the whole concept of the interoperability. So unlike a lot of different cryptocurrencies in which you need to have, for instance, a blockchain to become interoperable, right? Hence ecosystem and so on. That's the whole concept of Overledger. You don't necessarily need that, because if anything, that software, the quote unquote operating system, um, they send it out to various projects and say to them, look, you guys don't have to jump through all the red tape. You don't have to make it so you're interoperable with us. We'll basically be interoperable with you with 3 lines of code. And that's why they're shining right now above in the beyond the pack, if you will. Myself and I, again, a guy who originally came from probably, or you know what, I should say that you did hashtag ISO 222, and that's how you found us. But yeah, he's a big fan of Quant. He said Quant is one of his biggest bags. Thank you again for joining us. Also love the text stacking Morpheus network. Now it's the Quant, baby. Yep.
So,
in regards,
quick question: where do you think
go ahead.
Quant goes as far as pricing on this downtrend in the market? Where do you think the bottom is on it?
The bottom for Quant?
Yeah.
Oh man, possibly 80. I don't see it. Like some people are saying, like it's going to go back down to 40. I don't see that happening, personally.
You don't see it going back down to that 50 levels where that last line of support was at the last bottom?
No, I don't really see it going back down to that, because if anything, you also got to keep in mind that during the last major dip, if you will, Quant was ahead of the pack, and it was up significantly compared to the whole crash of the market and so on. So the last time we saw Quant roughly in the 40s was, oh man, I think right at the beginning of last summer. That was the last time it was. And again, that was like what, 1 month after the whole Terra collapse. So
yeah, June.
Yeah.
You don't think it'll go back down to there?
I don't see it. I mean, I know there's some people doing some videos about that, of these speculative, scenarios, but I don't see it. If it happens, then I'm not necessarily against it, because my thing is, if that realistically happens, then another overused term, right? Back the truck up. Yeah, I definitely would. So, not financial advice. Yeah.
See, I'm the type of guy, I'm trying to buy at the lowest possible I can. I'm all about DCAing, but I'm going to try to start my DCA at the very bottom at that I can kind of get in at, with the market, the way it's going, where Bitcoin's going, where overall market's going. I certainly think most everything is going to continue downtrending, at least overall in the short term, 3 months, 6 months time period. But yeah, if this thing goes any lower, I mean, it was close to $400 for the all-time high. That's a good, easy 8, 9, 10x when it goes back to all-time highs.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, I mean, like I mentioned, there's the crowd of people like myself where, I'm not into Quant for the short gains, if you will. I'm into Quant for DCAing and picking up that bag over the, accumulating a much larger bag over time to get to, some of these insane price levels, if you will.
Right. And I mean, if you're in the project, that's one
Yeah.
thing, but for somebody that's looking at getting into it for the first time or their first bag, I'm trying to look at where that lowest price is that I can get in at.
I'll just be honest with you. For me, the lowest I'm seeing, I'm looking at like 80. I mean, the support for 50 or below, it's been really mixed with that. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen enough support to say, not that I'm saying that the guy that you're watching or whoever it is that's showing you, technical analysis.
Oh no, I'm just looking. I'm just looking at the chart right now.
Yeah. I mean, it could, I mean, a lot of things could very well happen, but I mean, the last time we saw 40 was right before the start of summer. So,
okay.
All right. Mr. No Faces in the house. I forgot to say hello to Michael Montclair. Good to see you. We're about 20 minutes into the show, so I'm just gonna have to kind of rapid fire through a lot of these. Might end up skipping a few, nothing personal. I'm gonna answer this question. Whoever wants to take this. So MNW is a supply chain, just like VET, correct? Anybody into NNW? I'm not familiar with that particular one. I'm familiar with VET. VET is technically ISO 222, leans that way. I shouldn't say it's officially. You got to look at VET as being from a inventory side of ISO. Anybody else want to take that? Can answer that particular question?
B-Chain actually is one of my favorite. I do have it on my portfolio, and I think that's gonna do really good. Like, honestly speaking, they have a lot of partnership. McDonald's, Jaguar, if I remember correctly, BMW, Carnival Cruise. It's all like you said, all in the inventory part, and yeah, I believe in BJ.
Yeah. How about you, Jeremy? Are you familiar with VeChain?
No, I'm not into that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, MNW, I never even heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one either. I do appreciate the question, Crypto God. I'll state this much, I've had VET on my watch list for the longest time. I was considering getting into it a while back, but what kind of did it for me was towards the end of last year, where a lot of projects were at all-time highs. You didn't see much happening with VET. I don't know if it's because they didn't get their patent done. It was kind of like a lot of case of here's what we can do for the future and so on. And it just ended up being something that was part of my watch list instead of getting into it.
No, I was gonna say I think he wasn't watching because with B Chain, one of my friend made almost $1 million, 500,000 and some change. I told him about B Chain when it was at 3 4 zeros before, so that's when he bought it. And it went all the way to 27 cents. Everybody was expecting at least $1. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting that, but it didn't go that far.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing until they actually get the. How about this? So when it comes to VET, one of the biggest selling points is they're going to have the utility of being able to get that barcode to scan, for instance, to see if you got real Air Jordans or they're, I don't know, Air Susans or something. You know what I mean? Like, huh? What's that? You know what I mean? Like, as if it's a knockoff or whatever. Scan a barcode to verify what manufacturing facility came from. You can do the same thing with, like a Michael Kors purse or some of these other brands and so on. Just verifying if it's valid. That in itself, that industry of black market retail, I guess you could say, is in fact a problem for both the United States and China. It's a $4 billion black market, if you will. And if you have something that will legitimately disrupt that market, then that is a huge utility in itself. The problem is they keep promising that vision for the future. We're literally about 2 years now into this whole concept. What's going on? Is there any updates or anything like that? Or is it just constantly this thing about, well, this is what we could do, but you're not, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not flooding veracity. I think there's a lot of potential with veracity, but I also look at veracity as the same concept. Like last year's, I guess you could say the end of whatever run that was, same type of thing. Here's what we have. This could definitely help the likes of YouTube and all, for instance, from a marketing side, right? Real valid views. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, like there's companies wasting tons of money. But again, even with that, didn't do too well on the last run that we had. So it is what it is. I'm going to go further down. Seems like the holders have matured and the devs are still playing silly you-know-what games. Keep your eyes on VAI, partner with IBM, up 27% today. It looks like a small cap gem. Huh, okay. Got AI tech right on. Let me see. I'm going to go further down. I do need to get some bone to basically just have everything from that ecosystem. But I did miss out on it, even when I was telling a lot of you guys about it and so on. It was basically the one out of my close to 50 in my portfolio that I did miss out on. And I always said to myself, I'm not going to miss out on something. But, eventually, let's face it, people do. I mean, you can have literally, 100 in your portfolio, right, Jeremy? I mean, you can miss out on something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem missing out on stuff as long as I'm convicted on the investments that I have that is going to go up, that I feel is going to go up. then I don't mind, missing out on something. It is what it is. We miss out on all kinds of things every single day.
Well, Jeremy, to your answer, while you guys were talking, I was doing an analysis real quick. And as far as quant, the lowest support is around 42.25. So not financial advice, obviously, but if it happened to go to 45, that would be a great entry. If it doesn't make it to 45, then the next level up will be around 73.
All right, fair enough.
So I'll be looking for in the 60 range.
I'm going to answer this particular one. I think you guys know some of my thoughts on links, so I'll give it to whoever wants to take this. But Mr. No Face, by the way, hello, Mr. No Face. He states thoughts on link. He's seeing price action over there. And then after we answer that, we are going to kick it into some of these hot topics in regards to the main topic of our show. Because there's tons of comments and we appreciate that, but we want to also respect the flow of this. But anybody want to take it away? You got any thoughts on Link?
Well, Chainlink, I just feel like it lost its momentum. No offense to nobody, but it had a nice run, and maybe in the bull market it will do good again. But at the same time, there's always a copycat, which basically a better version than the one that they already created.
All right. I take it, Jeremy, you're not a big fan of Chainlink, or it's just kind of like one of those that's part of your list? Yeah.
So here's my thing. I am very conservative in the last 6 months. I have pulled back literally so many things that I would typically want to diversify into and put it into literally a handful of things. These other projects, the links, the quants, the other things that, obviously that's your sector. That's not something that's like on my radar. I'm more into the top 10, the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the Binance, those things, and then looking at newer projects. So I know of Link. I keep an eye on, it's a top 25, top 50, something like that.
Right.
Anything that's in the top 100, I'm open to looking at and getting into. And that's why I like coming on to spaces like this, because Link isn't necessarily my thing. Quant isn't necessarily my thing, but I love hearing about it and, hearing other people's, sides of things, because if it's something that piques my interest, I would definitely, want to get into it, but it's not something that I'm really going out and researching on in order to get into, because I kind of have my 4 or 5 that I'm really interested in.
Yeah, fair enough. I appreciate you guys' feedback. Shiba 200 million and very patient. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that right here. And in respect of people who come here for certain types of content, right? Let's face it, when it comes to the ISOs and so on, let's go ahead and kick it into this right here. I'm gonna present a way for you guys can see it and hear it. Shout out, of course, to Coach JV. But I want to state this. So on this, it says specifically breaking crypto ban in America, right? Well, I'm not trying to hop on the bandwagon of the doom and gloom. God knows we got enough channels in this space that focus on FUD. Yep. Again, I'm not saying that's bad or anything like that, but some guys do it better than the next guy. But if anything, we're going to listen to this it's only about slightly under 3 minutes from Coach JV of the 3T Warriors Academy. And I want to specifically hear from Jeremy and also Wadi, whoever wants to take it first after we listen to this. And if anything, if you're just joining us, go ahead and listen to this for yourself and have some perspective on all the crap that's basically going on. Here we go.
The internet's going crazy right now with the rumors of a crypto ban in America. This is where you have to learn discernment and decipher the words versus action. I'm here to share with you facts, figures, numbers, logic on the difference between words and action. So in today's YouTube video, link is in my bio, the full breakdown of video of the facts, figures, numbers, logic. Senator Brown, on a 47-minute meeting, there's a short part where he talks about, yes, he agrees with banning cryptocurrency. So to do things like FTX, Celsius, things like that, they want to ban cryptocurrency, or do they? They want the public, and they educate the public on the trials and the dangers of cryptocurrency, but they're not educating the public on the potential of the blockchain technology and the innovation, and how banks are actually already up and running and ready to launch distributed ledger technology. So they'll educate us on how crappy crypto is and how dangerous it is, and they'll FUD us out by telling us they're going to ban it in America, but they won't educate the public on the amazing opportunity for a normal everyday person to get involved in this greatest shift in transformational wealth in history. But when they say crypto, they want to ban it, listen to what they say right afterwards in the video. He's like, we'd like to ban it, but that would take everything offshore. Of course, they don't want that, right? At the same times, their buddy in the banks like JP Morgan has Onyx, which is a blockchain technology, which they're basically are running on Quorum, which is Ethereum. Damn, Ethereum works with JP Morgan. R3, distributed ledger technology, already up and running and working with Wells Fargo. Bank of America, we know, is deep with Ripple. They're in their patent. So fam, you got to be very, very careful on what you're listening to. You got to pay attention to their words. Goldman Sachs CEO, Jamie Dimon, and also Larry Fink have all said cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, yeah, that's here to stay. So you got to learn to decipher their words versus their action. Fam, there is no other choice. With Ethereum announcing they're linking up with Visa, where you can become your own bank, banks have to custody your crypto, and they have to become a service bank. Ripple's going to be a bank. Coinbase already takes your direct deposits for your paychecks. Bank of America will custody your crypto and be a bank. Wells Fargo will do the same. And JP Morgan is already up running with the technology. But remember, they let all their wealthy clients do this during the same time when they say crypto's a fraud. So I hope this information reaches you well. Love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors.
All right. So with that said, thoughts?
Jeremy, I'll let you go first.
Well, I would have to tend to agree with a lot of what he says. Not everything, but a lot of what he says. The banks, though, in regards to Wells Fargo and JP Morgan and the association with tokens or coins already, that kind of defeats the idea behind what, the CBDCs are trying to do with the central banking digital currency. I don't think crypto is going to end up being that digital currency. Or they could create that digital currency and create a stable coin in which associates and pairs back with these other coins or these other, projects, XRP, whatever it may be. But as far as what he's saying, that's absolutely correct, I believe, in regards to how the government and politicians are treating this. And one thing that people fail to realize or not realize, but just kind of think outside the box is when they're talking about banning, they're starting the negotiation process with us as Americans, as society. What they're telling you is we want, complete decentralization, right? We don't want the government involved at all. The government says, well, we'll ban you then, right? So what they do is they take the complete 180-degree platform on what people want. So when they come together, now we're, meeting in the middle somewhere instead of starting off in the middle. Well, hey, we could do this. And then somebody getting 3/4 of what they're looking for. You start at the exact opposite and you meet in the middle somewhere, 60-40, 50-50, 55-45, whatever the case may be. So I think that's what they're positioning as far as politicians and the government. They're not going to get rid of crypto. He's right. It will go offshore. We'll find a way to play around. Right? We will. So they either have to let us do it, but find a way to let us do it and still get their hands in it. So I tend to agree with him a little bit.
Fair enough. Wadi.
Okay, so I agree with Jeremy 100%. With the guy, kind of agree, but I disagree, because the thing is, the SEC basically is trying to kill crypto in the US. The SEC, not really the whole government. And this is the funny thing though, because I read another article that Cogni Bank, US Bank, is gonna have a custodial wallet. So which one is it? Either you're banning crypto, but yet you're allowing for other companies to have crypto wallet. That doesn't make sense. Now, here's why I don't think they're gonna do it, because I spoke about the state coins that not so many people know about. I don't know if you guys heard of the Miami coin, the New York coin,
Yeah, so the city
and
coins,
there's
yeah.
there's a couple of other state coins. The funny thing is that if they're trying to ban it, then why are they making state coins? Why the state coins? The only exchange that has it, it's okay, not OKX, okcoin.com. So no, I don't think they're trying to ban it. I think more they're trying to scare us off,
Mm-hmm.
to back away while they accumulate, and that's that.
Very valid point. The way I refer to it is institutional whales, because at the end of the day, that's basically what they are. Institutional whales will come in and buy this all at liquidated prices, for they can load up and earn an astronomical amount of yields, to a sense, when this thing or these ones basically take off. Hence why you literally see it. Larry did a short not that long ago. I think it was about roughly 3, 4, 5 days ago. Basically pointing out in just a short 15-second video, literally a YouTube short, about how Bitcoin whales were at record amounts dumping their Bitcoin. But at the same time, he didn't mention this part in the video. At the same time, I did a follow-up, if you will, on my last XRP video, pointing out specifically how institutional money is loading up something fierce when it comes to XRP. So it's like, literally, as the saying goes, when in doubt, follow the money. Perfect example. If we're going to have this ban, what does that entail, and so on? Anyway, we do try to do 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out. This is a different case. I will try to recognize, of course, a few more people in the comments, because, I mean, you know, why not, and so on. But I'm going to go back to where I basically left off, hopefully. I do see a few more people came in. So Cody Core's in the house. He says, ALBT, your thoughts? We recently started covering ALBT. I am towards lenient with this particular comment that Tim Shea basically brings up quite a bit. And to a sense, it's kind of like, you know, Quant's younger cousin, obviously a lot cheaper, lower market cap, and so on. I have not entered a position to ALBT yet, but I'm looking to do so. It is on my, not just on my watch list, it's on my short list. But good to see you, Cody Core, who's been here since day one. Me, myself, and I point out that Quant is a layer 0, right? Polkadot's also a layer 0. There's a few other ones. Let's see here. Let me go further down. Let me see if I got any specific questions. Let's see here. I see Cool Cat Cryptos now. He says 0 is the bottom for Quant. Okay. Tim Shea states, Cody Core, do you follow ALBT on Twitter? They have much going on. Yeah, you might want to also try, instead of the hashtag, do the actual $sign. I've noticed that there's a lot more tweets per hour if you do it that way, especially if you're going to be using Twitter for a lot of your community-driven news with ALBT. Mr. No Face states, hey, Max, easy on the cola. Lol, everyone can eat. Oh, yeah. The reference I made earlier about the Coke and Pepsi and so on. Well, as far as what I'm drinking right here, this is just juice. But anyway. All right. Let me go a little bit further down. Let's see if there's any specific questions. Yeah. Reference to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. So me, myself, and I, States Quant was 40 on June 30th. I knew it was roughly, you know, in June. I was thinking that was before summer started, but that's technically right at the beginning of summer, right? Crypto God states BOJ gave the DXY a gut punch. Okay. And let's see here. Let's go further down. Crypto God, who's bearish for 2023? The macro economy is scary and Ukraine is draining us and inflating everything. Okay. I did see that Zelensky was here in Washington. I don't know if anybody caught that earlier. You guys catch that by any chance?
Nope.
All right, fair enough. Tim Shea, we have been going sideways for a while now. I know the popular opinion is at least another 20% drop, maybe. Cool Cat states Ukraine war will be over in spring. Hopefully, that'd be great for
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be great for everybody. That'd be even great for crypto.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to keep in mind. I mean, come on, before the war, 12% adoption compared to the United States, roughly around the 2 to 4% range, and their numbers have shot up dramatically during the whole time of this war. Last I heard was 20%, which is insane because fiat, basically, like cash, is just absolutely like worthless over there. The people are preferring crypto. That's powerful if you think about it.
That is.
All right, me, myself, and I says he's bullish. Okay, the crypto guy for the bear market. Oh well. All right, let me go a little bit further down. Your dollar cost averaging. Joyce, you still don't have quant, huh? Okay, fair enough. All right, let me go a little bit more further down. XDC. Oh, you hit your 10K goal. Right on, man. That's great. I mentioned I think that should be people's minimum. I think Coochie Boy mentioned that XDC, you should do like 50K as a goal. But right on, man. I'm glad you hit, some of these minimum goals. Mimo, myself, and I is also stating again, Morpheus Network is a supply chain project. If you get into VeChain, you need to look deeper into NMW. Total supply is already in circulation. Huh. All right, this is I guess towards me. Hey Max, I sent a message to email months ago about to start putting out some content. Would be great if you could Twitter message me. Way to get involved with CTN. All right, well, yeah, send me a DM. I didn't realize that you sent us a message months ago and so on. It wasn't until maybe a couple months ago I actually got access to the official CTN email. So I had to dig into that. So if anything, you don't have to announce your full email on the stream, but maybe just give me like the first part of that, and that way I could just go to the filter and immediately find out if it got flagged for spam or whatever the case be. Crypto guy, XTC is bullish. Yep, it is. All right, let me go a little bit further down, just to see if I didn't skip over anything. I'm gonna go to the next screen, just making sure that I hate when I shouldn't say I hate getting super chats. Of course, I don't hate getting super chats. What kind of content creator hates going? But what I hate doing is when there's a super chat that's there, and then I got to it too late because let's face it, that's kind of the concept of having that. Let me go further down. Let me see. So, all right, I think Coach JV has done one too many hits of DMT is kind of out there. Yeah, he takes a lot of criticism, but everybody. All content creators do. If you can't take the heat, you know how it goes.
Yep.
It's just what comes with the territory. At the end of the day, like there's only so much I can do to appease to so many people. Same goes with some of these guys. At the end of the day, it's like there's always going to be one person that's going to point out one little thing that we don't do right. You know what I mean? We're going to do like change our whole show for one person. That's
right.
We always take constructive criticism, but at the end of the day, unless you're a content creator, you just simply don't know what it's a grind, man. Like, it's more than just a grind. It's trying to appease to everybody but without pissing everybody off. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So Steve the Canadian, I've been using cash as much as possible to remind people it's not fully controlled by the government, only somewhat. Yeah. Well, it's just also we're getting from that leap from fiat to having a new monetary system. It's not like we always talk about the flip of the switch, but at the same time, it's going to complement the current system. I don't think it's going to completely take it over. And then I don't know if it was you or if it was I say you, Jeremy. It might have been Sean, the crypto smith, that outlined this a while back, but I don't think it's a case where the new monetary system is just like, boom, flip the switch, your SOL on your fiat. No, it's that period of time where things kind of
have to run side by side.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let me go. I'm gonna stop it right here, and then we're going to kick it into the next part of this. It is a particular outline that we have that we want to present to you guys because if anything, it creates that conversation that needs to basically happen. I want to read this. Me, myself, and I states, those coins don't deal with real-time gross settlements. Only XRP and XLM do that. XRP is patent technology. Yeah, and if anything, I mean, let's face it, when in the quote-unquote flip of the switch happens, I definitely think when it comes to XRP and XLM, those stand out definitely first. But at the same time, people got to realize XRP is not necessarily for retail, never has been. Brad Garlinghouse has mentioned that many times. It's for bank-to-bank cross-border payments, but XLM is definitely for your peer-to-peer, and also if you want to talk about retail, yeah, there you go.
I've used XLM numerous times to transfer.
I have too, and I've been a fan of it long before I even heard of the word ISO 222. So I've gotten into XLM. I think even when I first started getting into altcoins at the beginning of 2021, I've been into this about roughly 2 years now. Some of you guys probably been into crypto longer than me. But yeah, I've always been a fan of XLM.
Super fast, super cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just that, I mean, when you compare it to the likes of some of these other blockchains and so on, where it's extremely slow and doesn't really make sense and so on. All right, let's kick it into the next part of what we have for you guys on our particular roundtable discussion, because it should be a discussion. So it's not that it's doom and gloom, but let's face it, when it comes to the fast tracking of regulation, there's, oh no, we need to react based on the mainstream news. And you saw basically, for instance, Congress react to that. You saw, for instance, the U.S. Senate committee addressing specifically crypto regulation and so on. But people got to keep in mind, it's addressing it, right? And realistically speaking, we're not going to see any legislation that's going to be passed, in my humble opinion, until after the lame duck session is over. You're literally at earliest, I'm just being real with you guys, I'm thinking March of next year. And is that just, a coincidence because of the whole thing on ISO 222? No, I'm not saying it's coincidence. That's just the reality of it. That's just how it goes. Hence why we have lame duck sections.
That's only if something ridiculous doesn't happen between now and March. Like if there's another exchange that falls, if something else happens or anything like that, there could be something executive come down.
Well, that part is true. I mean, everything is speculation at this point. I mean, heck, you see it yourself, Jeremy, in the space when it comes to is Binance next, and there's lots and lots of speculation. But I want to pull this up right now, and it's basically this particular panel addressing some of these key things. So, for instance, shout out to this particular person, 801_XRP. States, fam, there's many paths to becoming a stablecoin issuer. You can get a Wyoming or Nebraska special purpose depository institutions. It is fascinating. There is no national money transmitter bill. You have to get all 50 states or become just at a bank. And I think if anything, people that are outside the United States, for instance, that are just part of the European Union, those particular countries and so on, that's where they can't wrap their mind around the whole thing of why the U.S. just doesn't, hop on the bandwagon, if you will. Again, like the guy on the far left is going to outline here in a bit, we are the United States. We're not, it's the regulations to a sense is a little bit different per states. Hence why it's so attractive for the likes of Wyoming to, have like a crypto project, if you will, because they are more pro crypto, if you will, when it comes to a specific state. Now, we understand the whole thing with federal mandates. If anything, we're going to play this particular clip, and if anything, get you guys' thoughts here in a bit. So here we go, and it's about under 2 minutes. We'll come back.
I absolutely agree. I think we badly need prudential regulation that requires congressional action right now. You just can't fit, today's new innovation into archaic definitions and archaic rules. We definitely need new regulation, and hopefully something like a stablecoin bill gets passed, if not this year, early next year.
I think the reason we haven't seen legislation is because it's actually harder than people expect. You look at stablecoins right now, there are many paths to becoming a stablecoin issuer. You can get a New York State trust charter. You can get a national bank trust charter. You can go Wyoming or Nebraska special purpose depository institution charter. You can go the circle route and get, you know, money transmitter licenses, right? And so I think the questions that folks on the Hill are dealing with right now is, you know, how many of those options should we preserve? And then you get into issues around what states are doing and things of that nature. And so, you know, this, when you get into the details, it's actually not that simple. And I think that's kind of where some of the negotiations between Chair Waters and Congressman McHenry broke down. So, I mean, I'm not in the prediction business, but you know, if it hasn't happened yet, I'm kind of skeptical that it'll happen anytime soon.
It is fascinating that there is no national money transmitter ability. You have to get 50 states or become a bank. It's shocking when you try to explain this to other countries, to Europe or other places. You say, well, we don't have a national insurance charter. We don't have a national money transmission charter. This is the United States of America.
Yeah.
And it's been that way for a long
Talk
time.
to my friends at CSB.
All right, yeah. Think about the last comment. The United States of America. Is this what is basically causing this big delay? Your thoughts? Whoever wants to take it first.
Is there more to this video?
There is more to this video, but it's very long. You know,
Okay.
That's why they just highlighted that particular one. But everybody's welcome to look more into it. You guys can look into it. Just look at Brookings. Look in, for instance, stablecoin regulation. Should come right up on YouTube.
So my direct comment to that is I don't know what he's trying to get at. Is he trying to say that we are united, but we're states, or that he's trying to imply that the states have their own regulatory authority to do what they want? Because the Constitution does stipulate certain things are regulated at the state level, some things are regulated at the federal level. This being one of those situations, it almost seems like he's saying that they each instance they have to go through and either become a bank or get approval in all 50 states, right? So the approval in all 50 states is if they don't want to go through the federal level of becoming a bank. So then they can do it individually, state by state. So you're given options. So I'm not exactly sure what the point is that he's trying to make.
Well, I'll answer that real quick. And of course, I want to get your intel on this real quick, Wadi. And that is basically this. So for instance, what is the, you know, Coach JV or some of these other content creators, they have pointed out this specifically, that when we have the whole entire new thing with the new system, if you will, with the monetary switch or flip of the switch, banks will be able to keep and hold 2.5% of their assets in various cryptos. You can imagine which ones those are and so on. So with that said, think about that in itself. Banks. So if we have this problem here in the United States where, I don't know, if various projects want to go, for instance, or exchanges, this sounds nuts, to likes of Wyoming, Nebraska, so on and so forth. How does that all work out? Is it mainly going to be focused on, you know, the stable coin side of things and just narrow that down? I'm not talking about, of course, the crap coins out there and so on. How does that work? Or again, is it because, you know, regulation will basically state, look, this is a real threat to TradeFi, right? Traditional finance. And for me personally, it's like, well, yeah, the whole problem has always been this for the last 2-3+ years now. Traditional finance realized that this is indeed a threat. Hence why you have, for instance, the SEC went after XRP and so on, and you see all these things line up and so on. I know it sounds like some cases like a conspiracy, if you will, but I'm just looking at it from the perspective of, now you're hearing all the talk, if you will, the panels and so on. We're going to get to the next part of this particular outline, which I guess you could say pounds at home a little bit more of these particular conversations. If we're going to do a federal mandate, then if that's the case, then it's kind of like, it almost seems like a win for the SEC, because again, they're looking at these as being securities and then that whole mess in itself. But I don't know, I'm getting ahead of myself. I do want to give Wadi a chance to respond. Go for it.
I mean, okay, so to be honest, I don't have enough information just based on that little clip. But what I will say is that at the end of the day, so I remember back then, USDC was the only Coinbase digital coin, right? As far as a stable coin. Now, if you check on Coinbase, they actually have a US digital dollar. So when the pandemic happened, there were talk about, instead of sending people money and sending people check, there was going to be sent in digital assets. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't have enough information, but I think that regardless, they're going to try to stop crypto, mainly the SEC. I mentioned it earlier, but I don't think they will achieve it. I mean, they haven't done it, so I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a, I don't know, a mixed reaction with all this. We have a little bit more in regards to these particular topics, and if anything, I've seen a whole slew of, for instance, when it comes to the topic of regulation coming from a legislative point of view. You have other people who are just that tied into actual central banks, you name it, and all of this is just literally the conversations are coming up a lot more rapidly based off of current market conditions, if you will. You know, what I mean, it's as the saying goes, action reaction. We're literally seeing some of that particular reaction going on right now. All right.
And before I move
Sure.
on, let Jeremy go. This is another reason why I don't think they are going to stop cryptocurrency regardless, because I don't know if you heard, but since the sanction that they took, putting of Swift, you know, the penalty, whatever you want to call it, putting has been working behind the scenes with, I think it's Saudi Arabia, Africa, China, and another country. And what are they working on? They're working on currency, digital currency that's going to be backed up by gold. Um, Damn, what's it called? Uranium?
Oh God, I hope not. I hope it's not freaking nukes and stuff. No, you talking about palladium?
I
Tied
know.
into platinum?
Yeah, well, I don't remember exactly if it's uranium, but it's going to be backed up by not only gold, but a couple of elements. And that right there, that's where I feel like sooner or later the United States is just going to have to realize that crypto is not going nowhere and that this is going to be the new era. And then they're going to do everything they can to be part of the game, because if not, they're going to miss out.
Or be played by the rest of the world.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
The US dollar is the strongest currency. I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'll let you go.
Oh, no. Do your thing, Wadi.
The US dollar is the strongest currency, right? And the euro right about now. So if this actually plays out, then the US dollar is going to lose power, which means the United States is going to lose power. So they're going to have to figure something out. Okay, Jeremy, go ahead.
So in regards to that, the dollar isn't going anywhere. They're just going to digitize it. That's all it is. Basically, you're still going to have your card. You're still going to have your shit on your phone in your bank account. It's just going to represent something differently. There won't be an actual physical paper dollar for you to grab anymore. It's all, I mean, we're at a digital state as it is. They just got to figure out how to blockchainize it, is basically what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this much. You know, my second to last quant video, you know, I drew the quant connection. I basically said, you know, hey guys, look at here. This comes straight from the Digital Pound Foundation. It was on their front page article, if you will. Mentioned specifically that the United States is in fact developing a USDC. And I showed, for instance, the quant connection. I had evidence to support that, and I was just like, I'm gonna be blunt and honest about it. It is quant. Here's why it is quant. We did a deep dive into that particular video. and it basically outlined, for instance, Quant, Gilbert Verdian, the rest of the devs and so on, basically being with MIT, developing this long ago, back into like 2020 roughly, and so on. Where we're at now, there's another thing that basically was dropped recently. I did a video on this as well. The Banque de France, as I would say, CBDC connection, the Quant connection. So again, it's like Quant keeps popping up in regards to some of these ones specifically, the CBDCs and so on. You're literally seeing interviews of Gilbert Verdian, CEO of Quant, basically mention, hey, got off the phone with, for instance, this particular executive from the Banque de France, and not us reaching out to them reaching out to us saying, we realize what Quant does. We want to, for instance, get this ball rolling. And now it's become a situation where it's like almost once a month, if you will, you're hearing these stories of another connection that they have when it comes to CBDCs, where people for that are not, right? It's like, we understand, the whole concept of, some people say like CBDCs, it's all, all the doom and gloom. It's, Orwell's 1984 coming to life. Let's make Orwell fiction again, as my friend would say. But if anything, I think what Gilbert Verdian pointed out before, it's complementing the new monetary system. Yes, we'll get to a point in which maybe, it's just flat out the new monetary system all the way, doesn't run sideways with the current fiat system and whatnot. But anyway, what I'm getting with this is it's interesting to see what is unfolding. Perfect timing, if you will, with all the talks of regulation and, for instance, all of the, I guess you could say, the trend of what is the United States' response in regards to regulation. It's like a boil over effect, if you will. I want to go a little bit more further down to some of the comments. I want to welcome some of the people that have joined us. We're about an hour into the show. We have about 20 people here. We did have some more, but nonetheless, thank you so much for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now, live with Jeremy, aka the Crypto Realist, the illest realist, bringing the ruckus, as Gangstar would say back in the day. And then on top of that, Wadi, the crypto hunter, hunting down that crypto for all his fans and everybody and so on. Good to have you, Wadi, and great to have everybody who just recently joined us. We really appreciate you. All we kindly ask, we don't ask for super chats or anything like that. People do that. That's great. What we do ask, though, is you just simply hit that like, because it helps get the stream out to more and more people, because it feeds the YouTube algorithm. Don't believe us when it comes to that. I'll put it this way. When Crypto Talk Now went from just doing live to both live, recorded, and shorts, well, things have been taken off for us. And if anything, I don't know. I have a personal goal for 9,000 subs by the end of the month. Can we do it? It'd be pretty cool if we could. All right, going down. Tim Shea's in the house. I meant to say hello to you, Daniel. Good to see you, man. Daniel Delgado. Perfect example of why hard work pays off. The grind of doing recorded videos, having those people come from the recorded to the live. Shout out to you. Shout out to this guy. Well, hello to Tim as well. But shout out to this guy, me, myself, and I. Another perfect example of that. Really, really happy to see people from the recorded now, bridge over to the live and vice versa. Super cool. He states ALBT is going to help tokenize everything. Partnerships are insane. It's a good play. It is a great play. What really stands out for me, and I know that this might seem like a broken record, but it's true. When it comes to ALBT, you're literally having that bridge from just that TradeFi, traditional finance, to decentralized finance. And if anything, some of the recent updates that we mentioned, for instance, that particular wallet that we were talking about and so on. Yeah, it's currently, not open to everybody yet, right? But just like the likes of XDC's, particular wallet, right? That, that military grade, I should say military grade, but they are a military grade blockchain. But I love the idea that XDC, we're mentioning as well, provides another person or another group at the desk to disrupt MetaMask, right? Because let's face it, a lot of people have been hacked on MetaMask, and XDC is that military grade blockchain. You have a whole different layer of security, if you will. Have you guys been familiar with that, with the whole thing with XDC, what they bring to the table as far as an alternative to MetaMask?
No. So how would they go about protecting that?
What's the
Based
new
off the comment that you had, I'd be curious how they protect, because somebody in one of our private group chats, Wadi and I's private group chat, he actually had his stuff stolen out of one of his wallets because he linked it up with a bad site. So I'd be curious what you're referring to in order to how funds are protected in that wallet or in that use case.
Right, and that's the whole thing. It's not 100% live. It's in a beta, and my thing is, when it comes to betas, I mean, you yourself know it yourself. You know, you're a gamer and so on. We do need to have at least, in my humble opinion, at least 3 months of a beta. Safe to say. But you know, as far as how does it specifically do it? Well, I'm looking at it from the perspective of what they bring, the element they bring. Yeah, technically speaking, it's a plugin, but it's not just like any other plugin, if you will, or an extension, if you will. They do have more layers of security compared to just traditional MetaMask, if you will. And I like the idea that, again, it's another big player coming to the table to see how it pans out. It's not even technically public beta, if you will. So I'm, of course, not going to even try it out when it does become a public beta. I'm more of the, you know, like I mentioned before, I think last time you were on the show, you're a big fan of the new Windows. I'm still on Windows 10. Why? Because I just, yeah, you know what I mean? I like my full service packs. I like all my stuff working. Then I'll hop into it. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And well, on that, don't feel bad, Max. I'm still in Windows 10 too. I don't want to upgrade. I like the way my Windows 10 work with all the programs. So I'm good.
I am too. I mean,
Windows 11 is pretty smooth. Just saying.
Like, I'll put this way. Oh, I know, I get it. But my other thing is, like, there's some software that we want to use, Larry and I, and so on, and it's beneficial for the show, right? We want to bring another element to the show, and it's like right now, me on Windows 10, I can run it. Him with the new Windows, he can't. No matter like what. I'm like, all right, well, maybe you need you know, was it Microsoft C++ visualization pack, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
he gets that. Still doesn't work. How about this service pack? Still doesn't work. It's just like, how about compatibility mode? Nope. It's like, come on. Anyway,
run an admin mode.
That's the one thing we haven't done yet. That's a good point. But even then, yeah.
When in doubt, run an admin mode.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know why I didn't think of that. You know. Anyway. Crypto winner states Caroline and Wang have pleaded guilty. Okay.
Oh, I actually just saw something come through that she actually pled guilty to fraud.
What?
Wow. You know what it probably was? They think about this. A really good prosecutor is just literally throwing every charge you can imagine at her, right? And saying, look, let's do a plea deal, right?
Up today. SBF's been talking to the feds all day.
Well, but do you think it's also that, like, a little bit of like, we're going to throw everything at you? You're literally at the point where you take the plea deal, say you're guilty to all this crap, and then that way you could possibly, I don't know, serve 30 years and then possible, you know, I don't know. You don't get one sentence,
I'm
20,
curious
30 years.
to see what she was charged with, what she pled down to, you know, what the whole thing is, if it's true.
Yeah, it's some crazy stuff, man. But thank you for reporting on that, Crypto Winner. Thank you also, Jeremy, for your feedback on that. Big Wash, dude. A comment for you specifically, Jeremy. He says, Jeremy made a great point about banks and crypto.
I'm not sure which point it was, but thank you. I think I made a couple of points, but yeah, I thank you.
All right, let me see further down. Yes, good old sweet Caroline. Boom, boom, boom. I can't sing, but anyway. I'm sure. How about this? She was arrested. She admitted being guilty, right? Officially speaking. I mean, we got to verify that, but man.
Right. It was just a tweet that came through, non-verified during the middle of all of us talking. So I haven't really dug into it. So it's kind of like a breaking thing that might be happening that I'm not digging into while we're on stream.
No, I get it. I mean, let's try to see about that. Go ahead, Wadi.
No, I don't see anything here. But what I did find was the article that I was telling you about is called U.S. Cognibank launches non-custodial crypto wallet. But yeah, continue. If you want the article, I'll send it to you.
Or yeah, you can send it to me. We can pull that up. You can send me a DM and I'll just pull it up that way.
Breaking news. I don't know if the name Tiffany Fong rings a bell.
Nope.
But she's had an interview. She's with SBF and everything. She's that gal that did the interview. 49 minutes ago, breaking. Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang have pled guilty to fraud and are cooperating with prosecutors.
Where's your source? I mean, what source is it from?
Tiffany Fong on Twitter.
Tiffany Fong on Twitter. All right, let's try to pull that up. I don't know if you have access to.
I can put it in the private.
Oh, you can put the private. Yeah, just go ahead and drop in the private.
The link in the private too.
All right, yeah. I'm just gonna.
Somebody mentioned something that kind of makes sense, and is the fact that also they could be scared if they stay free in a sense, because there's so many players in place that somebody even said the possibility of even their life being in danger before they open their mouth.
Yeah, but she's been in custody for a while. They saw her a while back. They've been talking to her for a bit.
Yeah.
This is a thing. This is definitely a thing. I'm looking at right now. Multiple news outlets. You have Wall Street Journal 26 minutes ago, New York Times 16 minutes ago, Bloomberg about an hour ago. Let's take a look into this one. I'll pull up the one from the New York Times. Hopefully it's not the one where it's like, oh, to continue you have to subscribe and all this. But anyway,
Crypto winner. He says he's the source, not Tiffany.
Jeez. Yeah, that's fine. No, Crypto Winner does come out with some good stuff on the fly. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share this right now for you guys. Let's look more into this. I've blown it up a little bit more. Here it is, straight from the New York Times. Shout out to everybody who's, pull this up. Jeremy, Crypto Winner, all you guys. Thank you so much for providing that sideline reporting. All right. It says, for instance, 2 executives in Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire plead guilty to fraud. Caroline Ellison, the former chief executive of Alameda Research, we already know the deal, and Gary Wang, a founder of FTX, are cooperating in the federal criminal case against Mr. Bankman-Fried. They're basically, it's the bird, singing
they
the song.
took the slap on the wrist to be chatty Cathy's about SBF.
Yeah, no doubt. As we know about, for instance, the plane in the Bahamas that was set to take Sam Bankman-Fried back to the U.S., right? Let me see. Let's go a little bit further down here. So here it is. All right. 2 former top execs, like it mentions, have pleaded guilty to federal criminal fraud charges and are cooperating in the case against the disgraced crypto entrepreneur, SBF. The U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York said on Wednesday night. The 2 are specifically, right, Caroline Ellison, who was the chief executive, I should say, of the cryptocurrency trading company Alameda Research, and Gary Wang, who I have to admit I don't know as much about him, a founder apparently of the FTX crypto exchange. They were key lieutenants, the states, in SBF's vast business empire, which rested primarily on FTX and Alameda, companies that he founded and ran. Says specifically here, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, also filed civil fraud charges against Miss Ellison and Mr. Wang on Wednesday, which I guess is today. The SEC said that Miss Ellison, who's 28, I thought she was a little bit older than that, had misused FTX customer deposits to fund Alameda's trading activity, and that Mr. Wang, 29, had created software that allowed that diversion of funds to take place. Ooh, yeah.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Instead of Sweet Caroline, bomb. What we need right here, right here, ready. What we need is this magic moment, because there it is, right there. Boom. Wow. All right, a little bit more. The SEC case builds on civil charges filed against Mr. Bankman-Fried, 30 this month. He's turning 30 this month. Wow. Okay. The guilty pleas and cooperation agreements are a major advance in the criminal fraud case against SBF. Well, yeah, no duh. Who's in U.S. custody after agreeing to be extradited, of course, from the Bahamas earlier on Wednesday. The combination of criminal and civil charges against the former top executives puts Sam Bankman-Fried in an even more perilous legal position, with the federal government having said he oversaw a sweeping years-long fraud, as we know, that transformed from one of the most powerful people in the crypto industry to a criminal defendant, potentially facing decades in prison. I mean, God, man. I mean, if you compare to like what he did compared to Bernie Madoff, I mean, he makes Bernie Madoff look like a freaking lemonade stand.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, in closing, I'm gonna read this last part because it looks like this is about it. It says federal prosecutors and regulators in the United States have said Mr. Bankman-Fried carried out a fraud that diverted billions in customer money for other uses, including buying real estate in the Bahamas, trading crypto at Alameda, making campaign donations, and investing in other crypto companies. Prosecutors contend he defrauded customers, investors, and lenders to his crypto trading firm before it collapsed in bankruptcy last month. All right, there's more about this if you want to read about it. Multiple news outlets, guys, but this was the latest one, and it's from just that, the New York Times. With that said, who wants to take it? Thoughts, concerns?
Well,
I think they're getting a slap on the wrist, and SBF's going away for a while.
yep. And I did say, Caroline cannot go clean because even though Daniel Gayton was saying that she's not going to do no time, she's going to go on parole, I told him, think about it this way, man. If she goes only for 5 years, when the charges, conspiracy to fraud, conspiracy to money laundering, whatever it is 20 years plus, right?
Well, you got to remember that's what she might be charged with, not what she pled to.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah. But
I mean, it could be simple, bad check writing, and then you get 30 days suspended or something.
well,
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, here's the thing. It's like, I don't mean to cut you off, Wadi. Sorry, if I am.
go ahead.
It's all these people lived in the same compound. You know what I mean? It's I'm looking at it from like Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline Ellison and whoever else is part of this. It's like, I don't know how old some of you guys are, well, so on, but it kind of reminds me of like the whole David Koresh, Branch Davidian thing that happened in the early 90s, right? With the whole Waco thing, but with crypto. Are you kidding me?
Who made the Kool-Aid is basically what this is going to boil down to. Who made the Kool-Aid?
It's just so weird. I mean, it's weird and it's bizarre, and weird is bizarre, but in all the people that got destroyed. I mean, literally, think about the countless amount of people like they were all in, especially people who just like they didn't know jack diddly about crypto, and they're like, well, this is good enough for me. I mean, if it's showing a Super Bowl ad or whatever, I mean, obviously this has been well vetted. I mean, they trust the government, but the saying goes, don't trust the government. And then at the same time, now we're supposed to trust the government as far as what to do with regulation, but we're not. Where were they when they never had us or back when it came to not looking into the right ones? You got Gary Gensler looking into freaking XRP, right? Yep. And at the same time, all this crap is going on. We're loss of faith, man, completely. I have no faith in the system. Well, this particular system, I should say. No. When it comes to this, there's other things I do, but
there's too many hands and too many pockets right now.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right. See where I was at last. I did see a super chat come in. Hold on a second. We'll get to that in just a moment. I do apologize. So I'm gonna highlight this. Give me a second. Then we're gonna go down to, I think it was Salamander. Salamander, the XDC commander. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says XDC, XRP, XLM, Quant, Algorand ISO 222 are my number one. So he has basically 3, 4, 5. There's his top 5, you guys, and that is a pretty nice list. That, to the exception of Algo, is my top 5. Algo is probably my top 10, but to each his own. We have very similar top 4s, I would say, if anything. Thank you so much, Salamander, for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. Do you guys hold any of these from Salamander's portfolio?
I'm sorry, I lost you there for a second.
No, it's all right. I was asking if you guys hold any of these from his particular portfolio. Any of the ones?
Hold currently, no. Will be buying, yes. All the X's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am very bullish on the X's.
I've been looking into especially Algo and XRP and XLM for the longest. Algo especially because they have some kind of partnership with Amazon. I don't know if you know.
You know what? Yeah, no, I hear you. Sorry, Wadi, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to respect Jeremy's time. I did just see your message.
No, it's okay.
You know,
it's okay.
from 2 minutes ago. But yeah, Jeremy,
got a couple minutes.
Okay, just let us know, man, and we will definitely respect your time if you got to get going. Sure. We are approaching that 1 hour and a half mark and so on. So depending on, you know, how things are flowing here and so on, guys, I'm willing to do some extended coverage for you all because I realize that, you know, we had the roundtable discussion. I think if anything, people do appreciate this. So before, hopefully, you see you got about a couple more minutes, right?
Yeah.
I want to get to the next part just to respect the time of this roundtable discussion and so on. So let me go ahead and get back to the previous highlighted comment because I just don't want to lose my spot. There's quite a bit of comments, guys. These are great problems to have, especially as being a content creator and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it up on this particular one. What's next in line? I will read it real quick. Abby Omar, hi, Max. We love you, my friend. Well, thank you so much. To be honest, you have a lot of energy. That's my concern is we are holding much more valuable gold. Quant, God, one day, men, one day soon, boom to the sky. Yeah, I mean, Quant is one of my, it's like in my top 4 right now, basically. XRP, XLM, XDC, Quant. Basically, in this particular order, it would actually be XRP. Close second would be Quant, and then the rest I basically mentioned. But thank you, Abdi. I really appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and highlight that comment and kick it into this next part of our roundtable discussion. This is only 45 seconds, and I want to respect, of course, Jeremy's time. I'm going to go ahead and present this. And again, this is part of a perfect outline, if you will, when it comes to these particular discussions we're having with our crypto roundtable. And here it is. Again, shout out to this person, 801_XRP. Says, fam, FDIC chairman on payment systems. Quote, if there's a payment system already developed, it must be designed to complement the Federal Reserve's FedNow system and a potential U.S. CBDC. Again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I'm a very humble person, as you guys know, but I think it's awfully odd that here I basically covered a couple days ago the whole quant connection with CBDCs, specifically here in the United States. Now you're seeing all this other stuff with it, not crediting myself because, I mean, there's no way in hell we're that big. But let's face it, you're seeing more and more of this particular talk. US CBDCs, you're hearing, for instance, Banque de France. CBDCs are going to be something that's going to be brought up like clockwork for the next few weeks, if not months, going into 2023. There's 45 seconds, and then we're going to hear a brief comments and so on, especially respect Jeremy's time here in a bit. Here we go.
Agencies. Finally, there may be benefits associated with a payment stablecoin, especially to the extent that it fosters an inclusive real-time payment system. However, as I indicated, there are important risks and policy concerns that will need to be taken into consideration before a payment stablecoin system is developed. And to the extent that a payment stablecoin system is developed, it should be designed in a manner that complements the Federal Reserve's FedNow system and the potential future development of a U.S. central bank digital currency. Those are my thoughts for today. Agency.
All right. So with that said, all the talk about, for instance, that I pointed out months ago and even to present that the United States is going to be the last to show up to the big show, if you will, right? Maybe in the case of ISO 2022, but definitely not when it comes to coming to the big show with CBDCs. Your guys' thoughts based on this entire outline, literally clip after clip of all this particular conversation that's happening and continuing to happen on a daily basis at this point. Who wants to take it?
You go first, Wadi?
Yeah, go. No, go.
Okay, so with that specific clip in general, I get how you're associating this back to quant, and I understand. They've got the systems in place to be able to complement what he's stating. The way I see it is, I kind of read between the lines and look at the message behind that. And what I hear is, yeah, they're okay with it, but it has to complement. And the way I dig into this, the way I see this is that obviously it has to work well with the way the government wants to do things, meaning they need to be able to have some sort of control handle over the situation. That's what I hear when I heard that video, that they want something that they're able to manipulate, hold, control, guide, foster, that kind of thing. And if quant's that, then quant's that. But when I hear that, that's what I hear.
Sounds good. Wadi, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been saying it since earlier, pretty much before you even showed that clip, that if Uncle Sam can get a piece of the pie, then everybody got a problem with it. That's the way I see it when it comes to the government. And basically, Jeremy said it in the simplest way possible. I agree with him.
See, the thing that you said there is, if the government, no, it's when the government. There is no if.
Good point.
They will have their hands in it.
Yeah.
They won't let it happen unless they have their hands in it.
Yep.
Yeah, very good point. Now, in regards, I will state this before, I'm going to respect your time, Jeremy, and that is,
they calm down. They're good for the moment, so we'll give them a couple minutes.
Okay, well, we have, for instance, hold on a second. There's one last clip. It's about 1:19. It's from Fox.
Yeah, let's send it. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do it here in just a brief moment. I just want to state this. You mentioned for instance, the quant connection. There definitely is a quant connection because if anything, we referred back in the past what they were doing in 2020. This is kind of straight from the quant site, so it's not like it's from just like a random content creator or whatever. But there is the quant connection that's existed since roughly summer of 2020 with MIT. And then on top of that, in recent weeks, we got the announcement that, for instance, there was the quant connection, for instance, with the New York Federal Reserve to develop, for instance, CBDC. And we drew that connection as well. Of course, that was a big hit for us. But anyway, let's kick it into the last part of this round table discussion. Here specifically, this made on Fox News, believe it or not, and it's a little bit back to, of course, what Wadi was mentioning about the Saudis and so on, which is ironic. I didn't even mention this to you, Wadi, and this came up. So let's go ahead and share this in a way for you guys can see and hear it. Here you guys go, and hold on a second, and here it is. So it says, oh, look, now it's on the news. China and other countries ditching the dollar now. Why? Why would they basically doing that? Well, as you guys know, if you follow this, the reason why is because it's been a never-ending money printing system that hasn't been backed by gold since 1971. Hence why the BRICS countries are stacking gold at record paces that nobody's ever seen before. Anyway, Fox News called this out. It's about 1:19, and then we'll come back for the final reflection and comments of our panel. Here we go.
Telling Arab leaders on Friday that he wants to buy oil and gas with the Chinese yuan instead of the US dollar, furthering his goal to internationalize the Chinese currency and replace the dollar as the reserve currency of the world.
President Xi met with the regional leaders of the entire Middle East and North Africa, some 20-something nations. This is a slight paradigm shift that's beginning to take place here, and it has strategic significance that a lot of the media is missing. It wasn't just a meeting with Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia. He hosted this regional summit, something similar that President Trump did in 2017 when he met with the regional leaders being hosted by Mohammed bin Salman. So we've come a long way since July of 2017 because this relationship between the United States and the Arab world is tarnished. I have one recommendation here for the administration. Work with the incoming Prime Minister of Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu, who wants to strengthen and expand the Abraham Accords. That means relationship with Arabs and Israelis. Work with him and have him help you renew the relationship with the Arabs.
After telling Arab leaders on Friday that he...
All right. Whoever wants to take it, your thoughts in closing.
I'll let you start this one off, Wadi.
All right. Well, no, like I was saying earlier, you know, like the whole digital yuan thing, it has been rumored for the longest. But what I was talking about, it's a different currency that they want to create, and it's specifically to take down the US dollar. So if that happens, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, then pretty much you could kind of say the United States is in trouble in a way.
Well, I think just currency in general is in trouble. We're at that crossroads now where there's so many people looking at different alternatives and different values of different monetary items, you know, the yuan, the dollar, the peso, the whatever, right? So
Yeah.
I think there's been a discussion in a couple of the group chats that I'm in, and even in my streams, where we talk about one world currency. Things
Yeah.
like this, where the United States does not want to give up that control of being the official currency, right? So now China's like, hey, we want a part of this. Well, what's going to end up happening is, you know, everybody's going to fight over who gets to do what and who's going to be that official currency. Does it escalate into something worse, like a world war over, a dollar? Or do we get to a point where we get into a negotiation, kind of like where we are with, like NATO or something, where we're like, all right, well, these 132 countries, we're all going to use one currency. Is it going to be a digital currency? Is it going to be a CBDC? Is it going to be, a stable coin? What is it going to be? There's going to have to be something, because if China's going to start fighting for that, and when I use the term fighting, it's more, trying to, take it over. If they do this and the U.S. is like, no, we're not going to allow this, it could escalate into something much, much larger than just fighting over who gets to represent, the currency, for oil.
Very good, valid points from everybody. I will state this also in closing. I want to throw in my 2 cents here. Everything you basically mentioned, right? The fights, the wars, and all that. I'm thinking of 2 specific things, or 3, I should say. The whole concept of this problem that is existing with the central banks. I'm thinking of another term that's thrown around, and we'll take more of a deeper dive later on because it'll take too long to mention this. Nostro Vostro, you guys know what I'm talking about. And then on top of that, all right, Ripple's on-demand liquidity for XRP. With all this talk of what you're mentioning, if that doesn't make you that much more bullish on the concept of where we're going, that new world order money, if you will, for that monetary system, and Ripple's XRP or on-demand liquidity, I don't know what else to say, because to me, this is all in line with everything that's been planned out for a while now. It all makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the one world currency, the new world order, that's been, theorized and conspiracy theories for decades and decades. I think we've just gotten to the point in the digital age to where they're able to actually contemplate the idea of a one world currency, because with it being digitized now, who's to say that we can't? And why should we, or why shouldn't we? That's going to be the argument and the discussion that lots and lots of people are going to have over the course of the coming years, decades, however long it takes to implement.
Good point. Guys, we've had a great roundtable discussion. Jeremy, if you have to leave, I totally understand. What we're going to do towards the end here is basically definitely recognize comments, questions, and so on before we wrap up the show.
Okay.
But
well, I do need to get going. So I will say this
awesome.
to yourself, Max. Thanks for having me on. Wadi, thanks for joining me. It's been a great discussion, a great stream. To everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys joining in and giving us some topics and discussions to go with and keep us lively for this evening. And I can't wait to be back. So you guys have a great day, and it's been fun.
All right, Jeremy.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
It's been great having you. Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so we're going to get into the next part of our, I should say, recognized comments and so on. You know, we did try to have, for instance, the 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out, but in reality, on a roundtable discussion, that's very challenging to say at least.
No way.
Yeah, there's just no way it's going to happen. But nonetheless, we do appreciate everybody who's watched. We've heard a lot of good feedback from some of you guys in regards to, you know, you stated. Well, some of you have stated that, you know, you really look forward to these crypto roundtables and whatnot, and you're hoping that we're doing more. Yes, it is a weekly thing. And of course, shout out to Jeremy, aka Crypto Realist, who joined us tonight. Always, again, shout out to my brother right here, Wadi, the Crypto Hunter, who's been at every single one of these so far. So that's really, really cool. But let me go further up. All right, so that was the last one I read. Let me go further down. All right, so these are questions to various people. Let me see, for instance. Looks like 2 people ghosted the roundtable. They didn't ghost it. It's called Crap Happens. But anyway, so Brian Dowie, March 20th, 2023, 5 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, going with that. I like that. Yeah, for ISO 222. All right. Crypto winner, Cool Cat Crypto says the war being over around March syncs up with the timeline. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you pointed that out. That could very well be the case. All right, now I see Crypto winner. Regulators want more transparency from Binance. Then they should ask their European counterparts like Boris Johnson to give up his brother. Yikes. Is it SBF's cousin? Oh, you're talking about Wang? I don't know. That's interesting. All right, let me go further down. I will read this, and I'm just going to get mainly into questions and so on. The war is more than likely to restart in March. As how long it's going to take to mobilize enough troops and do logistics, I guess you could say. Russia is about to end that war very fast. They're done playing games from what I'm hearing. Well, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed. There really has been a lot. Bitcoin miners are going to capitulate. A few went under. Okay. All right. Big watch, dude. Yo, Max, hold your ball cap up to camera so I can see your patch. Oh, well. I don't know if you can see that.
Little closer. There you go.
It just says Portland Diamond Project. It's trying to bring awareness because they're really, really trying to get a Major League Baseball team in Portland. That's my hometown. I'm a Portland Trail Blazers fan. I'm also a Phoenix Suns fan. The Phoenix Suns were my mom's team. I live here in Phoenix. I've lived here for almost 23 years straight. And then the other half of my life has been basically, or actually under half of my life now that I think about it. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. So been kind of a West Coast / Southwest guy. All right. Very good points. All right. Let me see if just anybody has some specific questions. I do, respect all the comments you guys have. Really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Do you want to recognize this guy, Boomer effing Sooner? It says, "What's cracking, folks? Good to see you, Boomer."
What's up?
Yeah. Yep. Thank you. All right. This looks like it is a question. Maybe. Will the CBDC bring the gold reserve value down? That's a good question. I don't have the answer for that, to be honest. That is more of a deep dive, if you will. I don't know. What are your thoughts, just real quick, while we're getting into that, Wadi?
What was the question?
It says, will the CBDC bring the gold reserve value down?
No, I don't think so.
Because my thing is, like, here's the thing. So they introduced, for instance, CBDCs, and if anything, it's like, well, why wouldn't you want to have it backed by anything, right? So exactly. I understand the announcement, but go ahead.
No. I mean, regardless, I don't think so. I don't think to not go value that's gonna be tough because at the end of the day, let's say, for example, what you was just saying yourself, they need, whether it's a currency or whatever, they need it to be backed by something. So in this case, the main element that's being backed by is gold. So anything you try to create, at least currency wise, if it's not backed by gold, then there's a problem there. Which which takes me back to the same question that I asked myself, like, why did the US dollar kind of depeg itself from gold in a sense? That never made sense.
Well, in regards to that, I can actually answer that. So they had a problem at the time where it's kind of like, I'm not saying that the concept of the U.S. reserves is a Ponzi scheme, because it wasn't. But think, for instance, the whole problem with some of the stuff you see with crypto, right? Like Anchor Protocol, right? More going out than was coming in. Celsius is another perfect example, because that was a Ponzi scheme and so on, right? Hex, you could even say FTX, more going out than what was coming in. So you have the dollar, it's backed by gold. But then you also have, for instance, where people are coming in and saying, all right, it's backed by gold, I want just that. You get what I'm saying? And then it creates this effect of your reserves are being rapidly depleted. I'm not making this up. You can look into it yourself. Anybody can. And so it was becoming a real situation at that time. Like, our reserves are rapidly being depleted. We have to stop this now. How do you stop it? Well, you take, like Nixon in 1971 announces, for instance, that we're getting off of the gold reserve. And from there, from 71, and ironically, by the way, all right, this is where the whole conspiracy theorist nuts come out of the woodwork, if you will, because at that same time of that year, Klaus Schwab created the World Economic Forum. Isn't that obviously really convenient? So from 71 to present, United States' dollar has been a money printing machine, not backed by anything. So as a result, we got more and more and more of that particular debt. You know what I mean? And it's so again, these cycles too, right? So it's like we went from that to where we're currently at, and it's like, well, if we're going to be getting on a CBDC, and some of these CBDCs are, the technology driving these CBDCs is, the technology of Ripple's XRP and so on. And Ripple, for instance, is backed by gold, or XLM is backed by silver. Think about why that is. It has to be backed by something to have a sense of value, not just, for instance, Ripple's on-demand liquidity. We already know how the value of that, but I guess you could say it's to further pound home the value. You have to have some kind of something where it's backed by something, right? And the store of value would be those specific precious metals. Boomer F. Sooner basically said hello to you a while back. I guess at 8:03. Wow, that was a while ago.
Hey, man, if you're still here, appreciate it.
Yeah. Profits in the house. He says, rumor is that the quantum financial system has been running parallel for some time. Old system just has to be brought down. Yeah. Well, the old system was Swift for, that's another example. But anyway, not exactly brought down, but upgraded. Oh yes, winner USDC fits the profile perfectly. Okay. Brian Dowie, profit, wouldn't be surprised at all if that's true. He says, cheers. Thanks again for the super chat. Let me see. So, yep, Salmon is in the house. All right, let me go further down. Yep, Merry Christmas to all, by the way. And, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody and so on. This is still technically Hanukkah. I can't remember. Crypto winner. All right. Okay. Some good intel you guys have. All right, let me see here. Me, myself, and I stay Salmon. Don't forget IOTA and Cypherium. Yeah, I remember you were into IOTA. All right. Bro, I'm the source, not so Tiffany. I think Jeremy read that earlier. Yeah,
he did.
Joyce states, yep, that's what I said about Caroline. Sweet Caroline. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you guys flat out. That someday, some big Hollywood producer, director, right? Somebody like I don't know, like the guy who did the Wolf of Wall Street. What's his name? God, why am I drawing a blank right now? Martin Scorsese, right? So, I mean, can you picture it, right? This would be good choreography, right? So,
Yeah.
Sam Bankman-Fried, he's entering to that federal prison, and then like these guys are like rioting and throwing the trash out the cell, right? I'm literally painting the picture, right? And as they're doing it, he's like got that look like he's kind of scared, And then in the background, you hear somebody from a cell crank it up, right? Sweet Caroline. Bum, bum, bum. That'll be the greatest opening scene for that particular film. Anyway. All right. I know that we're rapidly losing people and so on, and rightfully so. I mean, this is going on about 2 hours. But yeah. Oh God, we're talking about Tekashi 69. All right. So you say Crypto Winter says Tekashi 69, Gunna, Caroline, and Wayne are the new bread. No one takes an L for their friends anymore. Oh, yeah, I get where that reference was about Tekashi basically snitching on the entire Bloods and so on. I don't want to get in that conversation right now. All right. Joyce states, I wonder what the Bahamas were going to do to SBF that he'd rather be in the U.S. courts. That's a good point. But, I mean, I think if anything, I mean,
it was going to make him tougher. That's what.
Yeah. Yeah, that or they just didn't want to. They realized all the money they took from stolen funds to buy all this property in the Bahamas, and they're like, this is giving our country a bad name. And if you think about like all the tourism that they count on, they don't want a case where literally people are just boycotting the Bahamas, right?
Not even. It could just be that daddy's power rich. It's more in here than out there. That's it.
Yeah, good point. Me, myself, and it's just, remember that song? Remember, hey man, we're a couple hip hop lovers. Remember De La Soul? It's just me, myself, and Anyway, I think SBF is fried unless he has some information he's willing to share about these dirty politicians. You never know. All right, Cool Cat Crypto. SBF is the quote tribe. I doubt anything will happen to him. I hope something happens to him. He deserves every bad thing to happen to him. It's more than just what goes around comes around. It's also called, I mean, if we believe in justice at all, something needs to happen. But I get it, man. Some people are like above the law, and it's a sad reality. All right, Crypto Winner. They pleaded guilty to their charges and sent home, but they have to testify against Sam in full details. Or 6 months in one of those rich people prisons. They are like hotels. Cool cat. Oh yeah, there's some, like the very low security prisons, basically like modern day Al Capone prisons, where,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Anyway, Salamander. I'm glad CZ is buying Voyager. I'm still kind of on the fence now with the whole Voyager situation. I mean, it was my only real standout profitable crypto this year. I'm really on the fence of getting back into it. I might actually even do Celsius too. I don't know, but more leaning towards Voyager. Crypto Winter states, Caroline in a hotel downtown. I don't want to picture that. Oh, wait, there's more. Okay. Downtown Manhattan and by Wall Street. I was there with our Discord group live. There was police in the lobby on the regulators building blocks away in the federal courthouse as well. Huh. Crypto Winter says, Max, your thoughts on Ethereum getting delisted from Paxful? I don't have any thoughts on that particular one. I don't know. If anything, I mean, how about this? I'll give it my brief thoughts on this particular statement. So the next target, let's face it, will be Ethereum. I think when it comes to the SEC, I don't like the SEC, just like many of you guys. But I think when that thing comes to an end, then SEC goes gangbusters, for instance, on Ethereum, and then you see the listing on multiple exchanges. I just don't know how that's going to work out, because if anything, it could be very, very bad timing, especially for all the people, for instance, who use Coinbase wallet like myself. I mean, come on, man, you're going to delist coin or Ethereum from Coinbase, and then what happens from there? I don't know. A lot of speculation. And again, I realize it's flood season, so there is that. How about you? What are your thoughts, too? I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the whole thing? I mean, can it snowball from there, or do you think it's just let's wait for the SEC to target them like they did XRP?
Yeah, I think just wait and see, because at the end of the day, Vitalik does have a lot of money, and I don't think the FCC got that much money to go against him. So, okay, like I was reading earlier that the FCC is trying to extend the court with Ripple, right? But then again, that's just my thing right there. Like, why they still want to extend it when the case is already practically lost? They lost. And I feel like that is just been a delay because of the threat that XRP is to the banks, the government bank and the World Bank and whatever else you want to call it.
No, you could call it that.
Huh?
I would call it that, or where else you want to call it. I mean, world banks, central banks, yeah. Hold on. Once SBS starts talking, do you think he'll throw Dirty Gary under the bus? I don't see why he wouldn't, and I definitely think there's some kind of connection there. It would be too much a coincidence. You guys seen it, for instance, right? The 4 pictures, if you will. You have Sam Bankman-Fried in the top left, I believe it is, or is it the top right? I don't know, don't matter, but you know what I mean, where you connect the dots, if you will. Sam Bankman-Fried, the connection to, for instance, Gary Gensler. What's the connection? MIT. Gary Gensler, the connection to, for instance, Caroline Ellison's father. Again, the MIT connection there. And then, of course, the romantic relationship with SBF. I mean, it's just too much of a coincidence. So, yes, I do see him throwing Gary Gensler under the bus. And I will state this. When this happens, if anything, that's going to basically create a lot of doubt with all the current doubt about confidence in the SEC. From there, in order for anybody to even consider the likes of the SEC, the general public, I think from there you have to have some kind of, whether you're for this or not, like an oversight committee for the SEC, or kind of like, the police forces, right? Like you have IA, internal affairs, right? I mean, whether you're a fan of internal affairs and whatnot, let's face it. I mean, that is supposed to be the group or the official governing body, if you will. Not governing body, but you know what I mean? The guys that investigate the cops. Well, we also need a committee or a group of people who investigate just that, the SEC. I mean, to hold them accountable for this crap doesn't keep happening, because it will keep happening, as we know. All right. Pax will finally realize ETH was garbage. Good point, Cool Cat. Got to be the reason. Yeah. All right. Crypto winner. I don't trust a Binance and Voyager deal. To Boris Johnson's brother. I don't know about this whole thing with Boris Johnson's brother, to be honest. I'll have to look more into it. You are more aware of this than I am. Shout out to you. So deal to Boris Johnson's brother stepping down. So you're literally saying Boris Johnson, like the former prime minister of the UK, from Binance, seems like he's running from something that's to come. Okay. Joyce states lots of old sci-fi movies and shows had a digital currency system called credits. Yes, there's a Nicolas Cage movie, and I know that Rich at Common Sense Crypto points out. So let me see. I'll look this up right now. I guess it came out a while back, but hold on a second. Let me look at his particular filmography. But yeah, there's one, I guess, a while back that specifically kind of reminds you what's going on with everything that's happening with crypto as we speak. I'm trying to find out where the heck this is. How long ago did this come out? Let me see. I don't know. You watch a lot of Nicolas Cage movies? I mean, a lot of those movies are kind of bad. Let's face it.
Which one? Because I've seen a few.
Yeah. Ah, man. Somebody could give me the name of the movie. I want to actually see it now because I want to add it to my list. I don't know. I guess I'll have to go back.
The last Nicolas Cage movie I saw was Ghost Rider.
Yeah. I don't know. I would say from the 90s, it's been getting kind of bizarre on this movie. I forgot which one it is. But anyway. But there's one specifically with what you're talking about, Joyce. Rich from Common Sense Crypto points it out. And again, please do not give me any spoilers either, because I do want to see the movie. If you guys happen to know what movie I'm talking about, but it specifically mentions carbon credits, right? And it kind of gives you an idea of like where we're going. If anything, from what I've heard, it's kind of like the concept of Orwell's 1984, but like in a movie format, to a sense, loosely based on it, right? I wouldn't mind seeing it. Another one I want to see that's gotten really good reviews. That's kind of like a movie that came out in the early 2000s. Starred Christian Bale. It's about like a dystopian type society. I forgot the name of that one too. But anyway, I have this movie program and I have on my watch list, but it got good reviews on that one too. Anyway, all right. Binance is going bye-bye. I hope not. That would be a big, huge blow to retail crypto.
Yep.
Yeah. I would never root for that. Satan Yahoo isn't the answer. Yikes. All right, Tim Shea, that's one of the reasons we need a stronger leader, not a hair sniffer. No way switch to the yuan. Yeah, man, forget that. Very good point. Not exactly a big fan of him, as you know what I'm talking about, but I do try to keep it neutral. All right, crypto winner. All China did by doing business with MBS is pissed off with his Iranian counterpart in the United States, and China and MBS strategically chose that deal. All right, hold on. Let me go further down. China gets oil from Iran, and USA sells oil for Iraq. Look up General Pedraza. You mean Pedraeus? The United States' highest-ranking general. He is the general in Iraq's army, and we have over 25,000 soldiers working in MBS army of the books Congress. What's the answer now? Okay. All right. See you later, Joyce. Good to have you here. Good night, me, myself, and I. Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971. Yep, you're right. Crypto winner, the CBDC is going to be pegged to nuclear fusion, clean energy. My goodness, you guys got a lot of good comments. Joe will eat bugs and like it. Yeah. You will eat the bugs and like it. You will own nothing. I will state this much. In the future, I'm really thinking about putting together, and I'll give credit, for instance, to Wolfenstein, the New Order. I'm thinking about putting together like a CBDC, Klaus Schwab style trailer, if you will. Not to create a bunch of conspiracy theories and doom and gloom, but when I was watching, here's the thing. So on Epic Games, they have a free giveaway as we speak for Wolfenstein, The New Order. Highly recommend getting that game. It's free, for crying out loud. If you want a free Christmas gift, go to Epic Games, get yourself the launcher, grab that game. I think it's still free. I was watching some of the trailers. They did such a magnificent job on some of these specific ones, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that should be the trailer for the World Economic Forum starring Klaus Schwab. Anyway, all right, here's a question. I will answer this. Crypto winner states, question, Max, did you know Boris Johnson's brother just stepped down from Binance? No, I wasn't even aware that of the Boris Johnson time. I mean, I know a lot of you guys expect me to know all this stuff, but let's face it. I mean, come on, man. All this stuff in crypto, you're not going to know anything and everything. And if anything, I'm learning stuff every day, sometimes from you guys and so on. Were you aware of that too, Wadi?
No, I really don't look that much into it, just the main exchanges. But Max, what I'm gonna do is I've been starving, bro. My stomach has been growing.
Oh, yeah, you gotta get going. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I understand, man.
Yeah, so
you gotta get going.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, but definitely I'll see you in the next one for sure.
Well, I appreciate you, Wadi. Thanks for coming by, my friend. We'll see you on the next one.
Oh, well, thank you for having me here. Really appreciate that. Have a good night, everyone.
See you, Wadi. All right. I'm just going to read those last few ones. Yep. Martin Scorsese. Crypto Winter says, so the reason they changed to ETH to proof of stake so the SC or FCC can have full control of Ethereum USA transaction. So you think that was planned many years ago? Because I mean, like I pointed on yesterday's show, I felt as though that let's face it, Ethereum did state many years ago, I think all the way back to at least 2016, 2017. I don't remember the exact year. Might be even be as early as 2014, which is really, really early. Let's face it, that eventually they're going to go from proof of work to proof of stake. So do you feel as though that this was planned in the making, that is just more than, that's not a coincidence, that, they saw what we're into right now? Don Hemmerling, I've never seen you before. I want to go ahead and welcome you. We're wrapping up the show. He says, I just heard some interesting news about Corium being the global use case for currency for all blockchains. Check out Crypto Rick's latest post. All right, thanks for the info on that. And I'd like to welcome you, towards the end of our show. To whoever is here right now, of the 13, we had, I think, about maybe close to 30 earlier. Thank you for tuning in, and also go ahead and welcome Don if you haven't done so already. I've never seen this guy as well. Wayne Side, Fed rate stabilizes, everything goes up. Thank you for joining us, Wayne. Crypto Winner states, yes. Okay. Wrapping up the last few comments. I think it's the last few comments. Yeah. Cool Cat Crypto says, I couldn't believe how horrible the new Matrix film was. I never saw it. And when I saw it got really bad reviews, I just kind of skipped it. Which is too bad, because I loved here's the thing. I loved, for instance, the first one. I thought the second one was, was not bad. Especially Monica Bellucci. Oh, don't get me started. Anyway, but yeah, the third one, it was okay. I understand, it has to have its conclusion, but I don't know. I heard a lot of bad things, a lot of mixed reactions about this new one. Crypto Winner, yes, Boris Johnson's brother just stepped down yesterday from Binance. Crypto Winner, they are all connected to Gary and Sam Boris Johnson's brother, and CZ. Might be next. His name is Joe Johnson. Nice. When I think of Joe Johnson, I think of Joe Johnson used to play for Phoenix Suns in the early 2000s. Sorry, I'll just be honest. All right. Equilibrium. Yes, that's the movie. Thank you so much, Cool Cat. Yep. With Bale, pretty good actually. Yeah, you got decent reviews. I think I got like a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and I like the concept of it because it kind of brings in that Half-Life. If you played Half-Life, on PC, kind of has a Half-Life-esque feel to it, which you guys know. I'm a gamer and so on. I haven't gamed up for the longest time. I've been crypto literally every day since late April, but I do play once in a while. Haven't played for over a month now, but that's okay. I do want to play. I want to get MW2, but I also want to get a nice PC for it. People's telling me, "Oh, you have a decent enough PC." Yeah. I also like to stream. I also like to make videos. Want them to look high quality, not all laggy. Knowing maybe with Cage. I think that's it. Yes, I think that's the one. So I'm gonna put that on my list as well. Talks about the carbon credits. So yeah, probably I don't know, next weekend or this coming weekend, I might take the time to watch a couple of those movies. I haven't watched some movies in a while, so yes, Max, Cool Cat Crypto. Oh my god, it's so bad. Or how about this from Counter Strike? Oh my god, I love the map Dust. I could post so many news at it. Maybe today I'll raise my rank in the server from 3 to 1. You guys don't know that reference, do you? Anyway. All right, Maximum Max, Cody Core in the house. Thank you, Cody, for being here. Just showed up about a minute ago, I guess. And Crypto Winner, bro, you had a great show, Max. Well, thank you. And with that said, I'm going to wrap things up here. Be on the lookout. I'm really, really thinking about making it. If it's not on, for instance, Crypto Talk now, maybe I'd go old school and put it on Maximus Crypto. But be on the lookout for a CBDC World Economic Forum doom and gloom, starring Klaus Schwab, and talking about all the things of introducing the CBDC to the world. And You will like working at your local Wiener Schnitzel. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate you. Be on the lookout for some more recorded content. Of course, Larry with the shorts and our live show and so on. We want to be where we're at without you guys. So thanks again. We'll see what goes on in this crazy world of crypto and this crazy world that we live in. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Have a blessed night, day, over and out. Have a good night.